What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Garrett Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and pocket poppy, Adrian Homeboy Holmes. What's going up, Adrian? How you doing?
My man, Mr. Morlang. I'm doing all right. What's going up with you?
Oh, man, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah? It was an exhausting weekend. I was telling you before the show. PSA out. I just got to share this with everyone in the world because some of you may not know and some of you may know and you'll relate to this and you'll be like, yeah, thanks for saying that, Garrett. Finally, someone said it. Daylight saving time. Daylight savings time just ended.
For parents anyway.
So you fall back. So for a lot of the world, you always hear this. You're like, oh, yes, I can't wait. Daylight saving time is ending. We get an hour's sleep. People stay up late Saturday night. Oh, it's not 11:30. It's only 10:30. Blah, 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 whatever. Here's the deal, though. Okay. I used to be one of those people as well. I loved the end of daylight savings time because it meant an extra hour of sleep. But for the past 7 years of being a parent, that is not the case. That is not how time works for children. Okay. Children, we may be used to time travel, right? We do it twice a year. We zoom forward and fall backwards twice a year, right? Kids, they're not as experienced. And to be honest, they couldn't care less. They don't give a crap about what your calendar says about springing forward and falling back. Actually, if anything, spring forward is better for us than falling back if you're a parent. Mm-hmm. Because here's the deal. When you fall back and you think you're getting an extra hour of sleep, again, kids don't care. They wake up when their body tells them to. So if they were waking up before at 5:30 in the morning, let's say maybe I have a 4-year-old who does that. Now it's an hour earlier. So now it's actually 4:30 in the morning, which, doesn't super affect me too much because I sleep through everything, but it's still an inconvenience, being woke up. And especially for my wife, she's the one who actually gets up and deals with them a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. I was tired this weekend for other reasons, but I just wanted to share that. Daylight saving time sucks for parents because kids don't give a crap. Now, again, for springing forward, it's great because if they were waking up at 5:30, now it's 6:30. Okay, now you do
getting the day over with sooner.
But you know what? Yeah, it's rough out there. So I feel you, parents, all you parents who out there who had to deal with that this last weekend.
Me personally, I'm going to get this extra hour of sleep, baby. Yep. Give it here. Yep. I'll take it.
But yeah, it was a busy weekend too. It was my oldest shepherd, his 7th birthday. So we had to prepare for a party. That was good. Woo. Good time. But yeah, pretty much every day this weekend was just like, is it time to go to bed yet? Can I go to sleep? Man, it was busy. But yeah, what about you? You had a pretty decent weekend?
Yeah, man. Just kind of hung out.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to ask too. Now, did you do Halloween stuff the weekend before or this weekend? Because I had different people did different things at different times. I feel like some people did it the weekend before. Some people did it just this last weekend. What camp were you in?
This past weekend was the do something weekend. And even still, it was like a big trunk or treat that I helped volunteer with. But outside of that, right, so me being the delusional old man that I am, right?
Okay.
I always put a bowl of candy out every year for potential trick-or-treaters. Now, mind you, have we gotten trick-or-treaters in the last few years? No. But I'm not going to be caught as the one person when the kids do start showing back up as the person who did not have candy ready for them.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. Not to mention it's just fun to give them candy anyway, but I'm just saying as Halloween tradition dictates, you gotta have candy or else you're gonna get tricked. I'm not getting my house egged or TP'd. I've got candy for you. So
it's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, no, great little weekend holiday.
Yeah, for Halloween for us, like our neighborhood is, I mean, you've been to our place. We're not like in town. We're kind of out of town a little bit. Houses are a little spaced out a little bit more. Not a ton. Like it's still like only like 30-second to a minute walk to the neighbor's house, but not like we're not all right on top of each other like in town. But there's also like no street lamps out there. Like there's no street lights anywhere. So it's not really a trick-or-treating neighborhood. It's a lot of older people. It's a lot of old people. Like there's not very many families, not very many kids, that kind of thing. So
see, they're supposed to be the ones that have the full-size candy bars. Old people are tripping out.
Yeah, not the ones around here. Yeah. So we went to a trunk or treat as well, but holy smokes. It was a trunk or treat we went to probably 2 years ago. It was the first time we went to it. And it was fantastic. We loved it. It was like a really cool event. They had like jumpy bounce houses. They had like a little show set up on a stage. They had the trunk or treat area, like cars set up, all decorated. It was so much fun. Little carnival games. We didn't go last year because we were in New York, but this year we went. And holy smokes, it's like word got out that this is happening and it was so busy. I'm like, this isn't fun. This is just exhausting and terrifying. Like there was way too many people. The line to get into the trunk or treating area was probably like a 45-minute or longer wait. I'm like, I'm not waiting no hour to go pick up some candy that my kids can't even eat because they're allergic to gluten and dairy. Okay, so they just give it all to me anyway, and I like candy, but I don't need that much candy. So
and that's candy you probably could have stopped off and bought at the store, but you wanted to give them the experience, and it got tainted. Yeah. So thanks, humanity.
So what we ended up doing is they came away from it really happy because I compromised with them. I'm like, all right, guys, here's the deal. I don't want to stand in that line, and I don't think you want to stand in that line, right? They're like, no, we don't want to stand in that line. I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sit here. We're going to watch a show. It was a Mario theme this year, their trunk or treat. So they had a big like Super Mario show, like people dress up as Super Mario and Peach and Luigi and doing some like silly.
Really, the one I saw was Minecraft themed.
Okay, that's awesome.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. So they were doing like trivia and they were doing like asking the crowd like different questions. They were doing like a little obstacle course and the kids could run up there and go through like a little Mario obstacle course on stage and stuff like that. But then, so they got to watch a show. They had one of the big inflatable jumpy houses was like an obstacle course that they got to go through that. They did the carnival games. They still got some candy, still had a lot of fun. They came away happy, which I was like, okay, boom, win-win. We didn't have to stand in an hour line and the kids were still like stoked, you know? So
that's all you really want at the end of the day, you know? Yeah,
exactly.
Kids having a good time.
Exactly. So it was all good. And then at the end, you know, the candy they had, which I was thankful for, because here's the thing. But in the past, we would swap the candy out with like something like healthier. So like Trudy would find candy that either like didn't have those allergens in it or like dairy free or, you know, didn't have gluten and stuff. Or
so rice crackers.
Yeah. Also, well, there's some candies out there, or like, or even like candy's fine, like suckers and stuff, but like just stuff without like all the nasty dyes, like red dyes, food dyes, and stuff like that. Because that just doesn't do good on their bodies. You know, they got a lot of different food allergies.
It doesn't do any better on ours. I can tell you that.
That's true. But I was thankful we had such little candy, not only because, because normally we would swap it out, but this year, my wife was like, "What if we bought the candy off them?" Because she just wants to limit how much like bad stuff they're putting in their bodies. And I'm like, okay, but how much am I paying? How much like do I want to pay my kids for candy we got for free? Like, what is this? I'm like, okay, all right. So I counted the candy. I was like, all right. I gave them each $10 for their bags of candy. And I was like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the Lego store, and for $10, you can build 3 custom minifigs. And they were like ecstatic. So that was something else that we did over the weekend. It was just exhausting. It was fun, but it was like getting out to the Lego store. It's a little bit of a hike and getting there, but it was cool. We've never done it before, but they have like the little bins set up with like hundreds of different heads and bodies and legs and accessories. You just build your own little minifigs. Pretty cool. So yeah. It was,
so you had quite the weekend.
Quite the Halloween / weekend.
Mm-hmm. That's what it sounded like to me.
Yep. But it's all good. We'd love to hear your guys' Halloween stories. I enjoy hearing what other people do. At work, it's been fun to, having a job now where I have coworkers. I can actually go like, hey, what do you do? But if you guys have done anything fun, let us know over on the Discord. You can join us, supergamerboys.com/Discord, and let us know what you did for Halloween. It'd be fun. Fun to share some stories. But I guess we should talk about some video games, huh? If we must. Well. Today, we are talking about Sony officially shutting down the Concord developer. Shawn Layden shares some wisdom on AA games, and Marvel Wolverine's director leaves to go to Xbox. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumple Smash and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates, Mama Mare, Carrie, and David Matthews. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 gets you episodes early and ad-free, as well as access to our Patreon exclusive shows such as Super Later Boys and early seasons of Super Gamer Book Club. We'll talk more about that later on the show. But before we move on here, I do want to give a huge shout out to Jack, Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on the show. This week, we are listening to DJ Trooz, and you can find his work over on Apple Music and Spotify. Make sure to go look it up, search it up, add it to your playlist. He's got some good stuff. And with that, it's now time to check the mail.
Moment of truth. Is GamerBot back?
Is GamerBot back? Well, I hope so. I'm going to attempt to boot GamerBot up here and
do it.
See if it works. So here goes nothing.
Well, if it isn't Gary and Andre, I haven't seen you guys in forever. I can't believe you made it all this time without me. I'm actually proud. Okay, let's give the people what they've been waiting for, shall we?
Wait, did they call us Gary and Andre?
That's what it sounded like. Like,
okay,
they forgot what our names were?
All right. I mean,
I feel like it hasn't been that long. Like,
it hasn't been that long. And secondly, we're your bosses, all right? Come on. Like, this is like usually this would happen the other way around where the boss is like, oh, little peons down below. I'm just gonna call them whatever. But we are technically Super GamerBot's boss. Right. That's awful lot of sass coming from our employee.
We might need to check the NVMe on the inside, that little SSD in there, and make sure it's not like starting to go.
We might need
I don't know.
Might have a corrupted
causing
hard
some
drive or something,
malfunctions
because there's a little too much lip coming from this AI for my liking.
We need to reduce the lip algorithm by a crisp 5%.
At least. All right, Super GamerBot. Would you mind giving us that question from Sir Prince-A-Lot?
Sir Prince-A-Lot asks, who would win in a knockdown, drag-out fight, Nathan Drake or Arthur Morgan?
Oh, who wins in a knockout, drag-out fight to the death?
I
mean, this is
I don't know why
easy.
I was saying, I don't know why this is even a question. Arthur Morgan is beating the brakes off of Nate Drake. 10 times out of 10. You put those two in a bare knuckle ring, he's wiping the floor with Nate.
Yeah, it's got to be Arthur Morgan. The only way I could see Nathan Drake winning is just because of how lucky he is, like just out of pure luck. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, the Uncharted games, playing through that, the only reason he survives, like 98% of what happens to him in those games is just luck. Absolute pure. And I mean, Indiana Jones is the same way, which is kind of like he's based off of that character. Like he wasn't really that great at doing what he was doing. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time, or fall the right way, or his leg gets caught on something so he doesn't fall. Like there's not a lot of grace or skill with
That's
Nathan
why they're
Drake,
fantasies. That's like, what if everything that could happen to you did happen, but it happened in the right way?
Exactly. So
And you
That
didn't
could-
die in the first 5 minutes of the adventure like most people actually would.
Right. So with that being said, if he happens to get a wind of luck just as he's about to fight Arthur Morgan, maybe he wins, but it's not going to be glorious. It's not going to be graceful. It's going to be very like, whoops, I dropped my gun and it went off and accidentally shot him in the head.
Right. Just barely.
You know, as he's choking me to death on the ground or something. Like I'm inches from death and somehow he just keels over from a heart attack or something. But Arthur Morgan 100% is way tougher, way stronger, and would just beat Nathan Drake to a pulp, I think.
To a pulp.
Yeah.
Like he's got killer instinct. Drake doesn't have killer instinct.
Right. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Drake can fight. He can fight, but that's where it ends. He's not a fighter. Right?
Yes,
he's not
exactly.
looking for, like, if somebody comes up to him, he'll like defend himself, but he's not walking into a bar saying, you know, who thinks they could take me?
Exactly.
And everybody goes, oh no, look at that guy. He's not one to be messed with. Not him. Arthur Morgan? No, I'm not getting in his way. Are you crazy?
No.
Absolutely not.
If he's looking for a seat at the bar and I'm in a seat, I'm giving it to him. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, I have my seat.
I was just warming it for you.
Here, I'll buy you a drink. I'll buy you a beer even. Here, have my beer. Oh, man. Yes, I think that's the obvious answer to that. But if anyone else has any other thoughts on that, please let us know. I'd love to hear it. We can discuss it more on the Discord maybe. But I think it's pretty straightforward. We have one more question, not for Super Gamer Bot. Super Gamer Bot's going back to sleep. But we got a letter from Ranger. Here we go. If you want to write in, you can preferably write in over at supergamerboys.com/Discord, where you can join our Discord and submit it over on the mail channel. Or you could be like Ranger and go to our website, supergamerboys.com, contact
Send
us.
in an essay.
And write in a full-on essay. So here we go. It's now time for you both to put your hands in the pudding. Is that a phrase? Is that a thing people say?
Wait a minute. Say it again, because I want to make sure I heard you correctly.
It's now time for you both to put your hands in the pudding.
No, I've never heard. He's pulling your leg. Nobody's ever said that ever. Not once.
I gotta go.
Ain't no way. Nope. If you come up with an example, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna say it's propaganda. It's Mandela effect. There's no way.
So when I Google "put your hands in the pudding," the only thing that comes up is the proof is in the pudding, which I know I know that expression, but there is nothing about putting your hands in pudding.
You know what? If he wants to coin that phrase bad enough, I'm just going to let him. You came up with it. Putting your hands in the pudding.
I don't even know. Okay. Anyways, it's now time for you both to put your hands in the pudding. I love it. I'm actually pretty pumped to dive into Dragon Age the Veilguard. The reviews are strong. Game length sounds good. Strong story, fun action, combat, etc. As I gaze upon the two editions of the game, standard version, deluxe edition, I notice the only major difference between the two editions is cosmetics. Granted, I'm a big sucker for extra story DLC, season pass, etc., but I've never been too tempted to pay $20+ for cosmetics alone unless they were to give you some kind of stat boost. Who knew horse armor would trigger such a trend? My question for the week is, what are your general feelings on purchasing cosmetics in a single player game? Do you ever feel compelled to spend extra money on cosmetics in-game or as part of an edition? I may or may not use some of the bonus cosmetics I purchased with an upgraded edition, but generally look at it as a tip to the developers to encourage further development of the games I enjoy playing. I also think back to many of the Assassin's Creed games with Helix credits to purchase cosmetics or special items. I, on rare occasion, have purchased he put that in quotes. I don't know why purchased is in quotes.
Oh, you know. You know exactly
Ranger, are you stealing Helix credits from like GameStop or something? Like stealing the cards off the wall? Like what's happening? What do you mean purchased?
Why would he do that though? Because you have to activate them before they can even be used by the register. So he has stacks of these little cardboard or plastic cards that he can't use. Maybe he just likes the way they look.
I don't know. It says on rare occasion I've purchased 1 or 2 Helix credits for double XP or something like that, but most often do not. And I'm a huge Assassin's Creed guy. They must generate revenue. P.S. I'm concerned. A lot of previews I have read regarding people spending game time with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle kind of read the same. They say half the time they were having a great time, but the other half the time they simply were not. Cautiously optimistic. I actually have not read any previews on that. I didn't realize previews were out for that. That is unfortunate. For the new Indiana Jones game.
Wait, what are they saying? It's bad?
People, a lot of the reviews, the previews he read is half the time they had a good time, but the other half, they were not. Like, it was not fun. So it's like really like a 50-50 experience. Like, all right, it's great until it's not. And then when it's not, apparently it's really not. Interesting. So that is, on one hand, it's surprising because it's like, oh man, this is a big AAA first party game. This should be good, right? But Xbox has been consistently just putting out mediocre games. Like that is their track record. We shouldn't be surprised at this point, right? Like that's kind of been.
I mean, ever since the Medium, like we knew what it was. That wasn't a Microsoft game, but it was like that big exclusive. When they came out, and they were hyping it, and then it came out, and we were like, "Well, we're stoked for this," and it was just okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like this is like who's the studio doing Indiana Jones? This is a big studio. It's Machine Games. Like
Machine Games.
Like
we didn't get a Wolfenstein 3 for this game, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm saying I think you're spot on with the cautiously optimistic. Like we can still be excited for it. Like it could still be good. Like maybe it was just the slice they played. Maybe it's just a weird section. Like maybe they could have sliced out a different section or something. But I don't know. I wouldn't go pre-ordering this game. That's for sure. Anyway, so the question though, Adrian, what are your feelings on cosmetics in single player games? Do you do it? You buy like a new game, are you buying the special edition to get cosmetics, or do you buy DLC later for cosmetics, or is that not your jam?
The way I feel about cosmetics is if it's not, I guess, pay to win for lack of a better term, but games that only have, I feel like the studio should focus on the game being a complete experience first. So like be able to play it from start to finish first. And then if you want more, like you don't have to beat it first, but just like organize the game to have that kind of a quality. Or if it's an MMO, you know what I mean? Have things in place to manage that. I'm trying to gather my thoughts. What do you think?
So it depends on the game. I'm with Ranger, where if it does provide you a stat boost, I will sometimes take it if it's a game I'm stoked about. God of War Ragnarok comes to mind. I bought the bigger edition of that because it came with some armor that gave me a little stat boost, and it looked sick. Granted, you only use it for like the first few hours, and then most of the time it gets outdated anyways, but very quickly. But again, it's a game like I was really excited about. I missed out. Well, I didn't miss out. I canceled my pre-order because remember I had the collector's edition for that, like the top dog one that came with like all the dice and the figurine and stuff. Had to cancel it due to finances and stuff. And so I was like, well, I couldn't get that, so the least I can do is spend a little more and get like some in-game armor and stuff like that. And again, support the developer I really love. So with that, yes, I will sometimes do it. But and even Astrobot, I did it with Astrobot as well because they had the deluxe edition that unlocked more outfits.
The Bloodborne, wasn't it?
For Bloodborne, and I think one other. There's like a couple outfits that you could only get through the DLC, as far as I know. So I got the deluxe edition for Astrobot as well. Because I love Team Asobi, love Astrobot, want that game to succeed.
Heavily.
And there's also, you know, with a game like that, there's like a little bit of FOMO. You know, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to miss out on. Like, that's so cool. Like, especially like that's the whole premise of the game is collecting everything. So it's like I need it all. You know.
Sir, can I interest you in Donkey Kong 64, aka the most collectathon game that has ever been made to this day?
Yeah, I have never played it, but maybe I need to. I need to change because it's on Nintendo Switch Online, right? It's on the N64.
I think it's supposed to be coming because we just got Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, so I wouldn't be surprised if DK was too far along.
Oh, so it's not already on there. I thought it was already on there.
No.
Okay. So yeah, that's my feeling of it.
At least I don't think so. Now you got me second guessing.
If it's a game I absolutely adore or I'm like really looking forward to, I'll probably get like the deluxe, like digital deluxe edition or something like that. Just so I don't know. I love having little trinkets and memorabilia, even if it's digital. You know, because a lot of those games too, you get like even Astrobot. I actually haven't even looked at that on Astrobot. It came with like a separate app, so it's like the game, and then there's like you could listen to the soundtrack and like an art book, a digital art book. I haven't even looked through that. That was part of the deluxe edition as well. So a lot of games do that. Like I got that for God of War. I did that for Death Stranding, I think, came with like when the director's cut came out. They had one that came with like a digital art book. So I don't know. So that is my jam generally, but again, only with games I'm absolutely like stoked about. Otherwise, I don't know. I could care less. I couldn't care less, I should say. I'm rallying back. I don't mind cosmetics as long as the main experience of the game you can finish front to back without buying anything. That is where my issue comes in. Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of the times the games that come out like that are free, and you buying a skin or a hat or whatever is basically like a level of showing them, hey, I want to support you because I really like this thing that you made. You know, and some are going to make it and some are not, unfortunately. Like we have to call a spade, but that would honestly be, that'd be my take on it. Yeah, with free to play games, again, if it's a game that I'm absolutely like loving, like at the time, like when I was back in the day when I was super into League of Legends, I was buying champions, I was buying skins, like. It was fun. It was cool. It was like really, and it was being a free to play game. It's an awesome way to be able to support the developers. But I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot of those games aren't worth it. And even looking back now I'm like, man, I can't believe I spent so much money on League of Legends.
All that money.
Game that I'll probably never play again because it just makes me too angry, too frustrating. So yeah, I feel like that pretty much encapsulates our feelings on that. In the case of the Veilguard, like the new Dragon Age game, because he didn't ask about this, but I just feel like if it's just cosmetic and it doesn't like actually really give you too much in-game, that doesn't seem worth it to me. Like if it's just purely like cosmetic, it doesn't give you any stat boost or whatever. Or what a lot of games do, like the new Space Marine 2 game, I bought the Ultimate Edition of that, but that's because it gives me, it gave me a bunch of in-game like cosmetic stuff, but then also gives me a season pass for all the DLC they put out for that game, which
smart.
I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy anyway, so now I get it all for free. You know, well. Free in quotes. Well, I really am getting it for free because I ended up buying the key. It was on sale on like Games Billet or something like that, which is like one of those like key selling sites or whatever. Like a legit one, not like a sketchy one like CD Keys or something. Oh, CD Keys isn't that sketchy anymore, but it kind of is.
I don't think they can afford to be. Everybody knows them.
But it was like on sale for I think I got the Ultimate Edition for only like $70 and only the game's $60. So like $10 extra. I got like the $100 version of the game. Like, heck yeah. Not mad. So that was a great investment because now I get all the DLC and all that stuff. Cannot wait.
Speaking of games, real quick, sidebar. Speaking of games with DLC, I'm so upset with Square Enix. Remember like all the time, I I was like, if Forspoken goes down to $19.99, I'll get it, right? I'll get it. I've been saying that forever. They had a sale this week, and Forspoken was on sale for $20.99. Just because they pulled those antics, I'm not buying the game. Good job, Square Enix.
$1
That's why
over
your
what you
team's not
said
there anymore. Right, just let it be. If it was $19.99, I'd have bought it. Just so I could say I played the game. Nope. Like, what is $1 gonna do? Tell the truth.
Everything. Oh man, that's actually hilarious. $20.99.
I've never seen that price before. $20.99.
No,
that is legitimately just so they can say it's not $19.99. That's crazy to me.
Just they didn't want it, like, you know how PlayStation has that filter like on every sale. It's like, oh, the $19.99 and under. Like they just, or like the, you know, the $20 and under. They just didn't want to be under that category for some reason. Like we do not want to be considered, you know, because games that are there probably like to like investors and stuff, like, oh, it's a dead game or whatever. So they're like, we just don't want to end up there. We're gonna price at $20.99 so it does not show under that filter. It's like, no, your game's dead. Like no one's buying it. It wasn't good.
Come to terms with it, accept it, and move on. That's all you can do.
Crazy. All right. Well, that is it for our mailbag. Thank you all so much for writing in. Remember, if you want to write in your question, you can go over to Discord, our Discord server, by typing in supergamerboys.com/Discord. Take you right to our Discord page to join. You just log in with your account, add the server. You're in. Bingo, bango, bongo. We have a few instructions. Just read. It's amazing how many people try to join our server. They have such a hard time. And there's literally a section that's called, let me look. Read this first. It's called that. Read this first. Right. You go there and you read the rules, which basically just says, be cool. Don't be mean.
Don't be a jerk. You'll be good.
Don't be a jerk. And then you click a button and then you're in. Easy. Just read this first. It's easy. supergameboys.com/Discord. Join over there. It's a blast. You know what we've been doing? We've been going hard this last week. Me and the crew. Have you seen this, Adrian? I feel like you've been ignoring it. You're like, you don't want anything to do with it. You're just trying to stay away from like a 100-foot pole.
I'm trying to think.
In the Whatcha Playing section, we've been going hard, sharing all the Pokemon polls we've been getting in the new Pokemon TCG Pocket. On Android and iOS, Pokemon put out a new app called Pokemon TCG Pocket, where not only because they had a previous game where you collected cards and you battled. This is their new version where you collect cards in game of a whole full collection and you battle in this one as well. But they've revamped the whole system. Like the battles are so much smoother. The ripping over open packs is so much smoother and way more fun. It's a really cool experience. I'm sad my old Pokemon card collection my digital card collection doesn't come over, but that's a whole nother thing.
Them's the breaks.
It's been such a freaking blast, and it's just like it's been so fun nonstop in the Whatcha Playing channel. Just people posting like screenshots of these sick pulls they're getting. So if you want to tune into that, see what we're pulling, and we've been sharing our friend codes in there. Join us over on the Discord. It's been a blast.
Think about it. I got a lot of stuff going on with my phone, man. A lot of people trying to get events going. Like I'm in the middle of a Pikmin Bloom, and I've been doing a lot of mushroom battles and stuff like that. So I don't know. We shall see. How about I put it like that?
The Pokemon thing is nice, is because basically you get like 1 or 2 free packs a day. You have to pay for packs if you want more, but you get at least 1 or 2 free ones a day. So you rip open your pack, see what you get, slowly build your collection out. And so, you can do as much or as little as you want. So as long as you just check in at least like once a day to rip your pack, you're good. Or, if you want to do more, you can. Then you can like battle the computer, you can battle other players, build decks. They haven't added trading yet, but when they do, it's going to be a blast. So that's what I like about it. It's very low commitment. So like, we want to check in at least once per day. So that way you're getting all the packs that they're giving you. But other than that, it's not a huge time. It's like you open it up, rip it, flip. Okay. I got something cool or I didn't, move on.
Quick question.
Yes.
Did you just tell me that trading is not available in the Pokemon trading card game?
Not yet. It's in the menu and it says coming soon, but it did not launch with it.
It's in the name.
It wasn't
That
in the
should have been
previous.
one of the.
It wasn't in the
What?
previous version either. It wasn't in the other one either. So
What are we doing?
That's why everyone was so excited about this new game coming out, because they're like, finally they're adding it. It's unfortunate it's not here, not here at launch, but they say it's coming soon. So I'm hoping whatever the first major update is in the next like couple weeks, it's there. It better be there.
Or we riot in the streets.
We riot. I'm gonna rip up my entire digital Pokemon card collection. I'll delete the app.
I was gonna say, and by that you mean hold the icon and delete that.
Oh man. All right. Adrian, it's
Yes,
now
sir.
time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes. The nerdy was a little shaky. I'm not gonna lie. I got nervous.
It's all good. It's all good. We got there in the end. All right. This first news story comes to us from Paul Tassi over at Forbes. This is a doozy. Sony shuts down Concord developer. No relaunch coming. Sony will close down Firewalk Studios, a developer of the now offline Concord hero shooter that was potentially preparing for a free-to-play relaunch. That will no longer happen. Firewalk will dissolve, though a breakdown between layoffs and who may move elsewhere inside Sony is as of yet unclear. Here's what Herman Hulse said in a message to the staff. We have spent considerable time these past few months exploring all our options, Hulse said. After much thought, we have determined the best path forward is to permanently sunset the game and close the studio. I want to thank all of Firewalk for their craftsmanship, creative spirit, and dedication. The launch of Concord will remain one of the largest video game disasters of all time. A title that took years and potentially hundreds of millions of dollars to develop, shut down just 2 weeks after launch due to an abysmally low player count. While the shutdown of the game shortly after launch seemed to leave at least some room open for a potential relaunch down the line, likely free to play to remove the $40 barrier to entry, if you've been paying attention to the trajectory of the game, it was pretty clear that there was no point to that. The price may have been ill-advised, but the free beta shortly before launch barely attracted 2,000 players on Steam. At launch, it peaked under 700, when fellow mega disaster Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League had 13,000. Sales estimates were at just 25,000 copies, and Sony had to then refund all of those. Oh, man. In short, the price was not the problem, and it seemed unlikely that any sort of free relaunch or gameplay tweaks could salvage the game. Sure, there are plenty of redemption stories in gaming, but if you're looking for something like a Cyberpunk 2077 turnaround, problematic as it was, it still launched with 1 million concurrent players on Steam. You need something to build on, and Concord had nothing. 2024 has proved to be a series of wild swings for Sony, with the live service Helldivers 2 being a surprisingly huge hit, while Concord is this historic disaster. Yesterday, Bungie issued a video about its own live game it will make for Sony, Marathon, which seemed to indicate it may slip from its proposed 2025 launch year. Firewalk had a lot of talent, and I very much hope that Sony can find places for them elsewhere in the company, rather than simply issuing a mass layoff. And then there's an update. They are, in fact, doing a mass layoff of 170 people. There are plenty of live service projects to go around over there. Concord simply did not come together on any level, and as Herman Hulse says, there are plenty of lessons to be learned. So sad. Yeah, I don't. They mentioned the Bungie video about talking about Marathon. I'm surprised they're still moving forward with that. Like at this point, I feel like they just need to stop with the live service games. Like, stop, regroup, figure out exactly what their plan is moving forward. Because just to keep coming out with live service games that keep failing doesn't sound like a great idea. Granted, Marathon might be great. You know, so far this year we've had Helldivers 2 and Concord. One of those did way better than anyone ever thought, and the other one did way worse than anyone ever thought. So it's not like it's 100% failure rate here, but it's also, Marathon also doesn't look very fun, to be honest. Any marketing I've seen, it does not look great. Like, it looks, to me, the marketing has been so terrible on both of those games for a longest time. I thought they were the same game, to be honest. Marathon and Concord, until I realized they weren't.
Here's my question. Do you think Marathon is making it out? Because I'm of the mind, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to chuck it based on this performance. And not Sony. Wasn't Bungie the one to tell them to pick up Firewalk?
I mean, they might have been part of the negotiations, kind of help them maneuver that. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember exactly, but I feel like I remember them. Yeah, being part of some sort of like team that helped them navigate that. Yeah, I don't necessarily see. I guess I'll say this: I wouldn't be surprised if Marathon gets canceled.
Me either.
I have a bad feeling just because of the state of Sony currently. I have a bad feeling they're going to continue to push through with it and put it out, and it's going to not do good. But I would hope they would cancel it, and I wouldn't be like it. That seems like the better answer in my opinion. Like, because Marathon, again, I'm a little foggy on the details, but that's just another like hero shooter as well, right?
Which one, Marathon?
Marathon, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so why? I don't know. I my only worry is they're banking on, since Marathon is technically a sequel to an earlier Marathon game, they might think they can get away with putting it out because there'd be some sort of fan base for it. But it was a game that came out in like the early 90s, right? like on like was it PC or was it even like I feel like it was a system that wasn't extremely popular. So that's my worry, is like they're like, oh well, people love Marathon. It's like, do they? Do they?
Please don't do that.
I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm worried about it. I'm worried about the future. I'm really just worried about how much hubris freaking PlayStation has right now. Like, they are so
it's at a peak, just like PS3.
So up their own butt about, this, like, they just think they're the bee's knees. They can do anything and get away with it. And it's like, no, you can't.
Right.
And you're not. Like, there's repercussions that are happening, but they just keep pushing through as if they're not. I don't understand. Sorry, I just found Marathon originally came out in 1994 on the Apple Macintosh.
On Mac, yep.
So,
but now they couldn't be bothered to put the new one on Mac. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, the main, just the whole point of the news story here is obviously talking about the shutdown. Very, very sad what's happening over there. I'm super bummed that they're not able to like utilize these devs, like, because yeah, as a whole, the product wasn't great, but it doesn't mean the devs are bad. Like, there's still some hard-working, high-quality developers that they're potentially losing.
And they were only being told what they were gonna make. Nobody had like a creative decision to make or anything like that. It's literally like how you or I would come to work and we got stuff, already lined up for us to do. It's the same deal. We didn't pick that stuff to do. Somebody who's over us picked that for us to do. So, you know what I mean? You got to play the game.
Yeah, it'd be like me, like someone telling me, go make a turkey club sandwich. And I go make a turkey club sandwich. And it's a pretty good turkey club sandwich. It's all right. But it's not up to part of what, the person who told me to make it wants. And I'm like, well, you didn't specify you wanted this special mustard on there. You didn't tell me you wanted, like bacon that's locally sourced from like a farm down the road. Like, you gotta give me some. I did the best with what I had,
Right.
Did the best I could do. But no, seriously, it's like, yeah, it's like some of those people is like, they were given a direction. Like, they're not a director. Like, if anyone should be laid off, if it's really that big of an issue to Sony, like, lay off the directors and producers. But all like the people who just did the work that they were handed, like, I don't know. That doesn't seem fair. Not one bit. But that's just me. That's just me. So the future of live service games at Sony.
I'm gonna vote for Dunzo. I think it's over. I
you
feel
think
like
they'll actually give up on it?
I think it's tough because it sounds like a little hyperbolic, but I think the wheels are already in motion for Sony to get out of these live service MMO whatever quests that they have, because I think it's just too expensive for not only for us but for them too, because they have to buy those upgraded.
Marathon is the last one, right?
No, last one for
that
the
we
race?
know of. No, Marathon is the last live service game that we know of that's in development over there, right? Because they had Concord, they had Marathon, they had The Last of Us, and then there was another one, secret one that we never heard about, we don't know about. Like someone had said that there was one in development, and it was proven to be accurate. Like, who was it? Yeah. I think there's one more we don't know about. They haven't said one way or another whether it's been canceled or if it's still in development, I think. So I would assume they just quietly canceled that one and just hope people would forget about it.
I've made a huge mistake.
But yeah, I would like to think that they would just get off their high horse and just realize like, oh, okay, yeah, we made mistakes. We need to stop this. But I don't know. Herman Holst, and he's honestly...
Gotta be honest, I don't know if they're doing that much better than Jim.
I mean, all along, Herman Holst has been pretty buddy-buddy with Jim Ryan in every decision he's made. So really getting Herman Holst is almost like a Jim Ryan Jr. a little bit, you know. Although he's running it with the other guy, which we haven't even heard anything from the other guy. I don't even know his name. Like, I totally forget. Like, that's how little they're actually utilizing him, because Herman Holst is the one who made the statement, not the
Herman
other Oh man. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing over there. I don't like it, but time will tell.
Yep. Show must go on.
Yeah. It does. And with that, we'll get on to this next news story. This next news story comes to us from VGC, written by Jordan Middler. Ex-PlayStation boss says platform holders must do more to restore AA games category. Former PlayStation executive Shawn Layden has said that platform holders must do more to reconstitute a AA category of gaming, as the cost of creating blockbuster games continues to increase. Layden, who during a 30-year career at Sony served as CEO of SIE America and chairman of Worldwide Studios, told VGC at Gamescom Asia that platform holders such as Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo must do more to foster games between the Grand Theft Auto layer and Among Us layer. The former executive, who currently advises companies such as Tencent, believes that by encouraging the creation of smaller scale games, platform holders can help alleviate the budget and team size issues currently facing the AAA games industry. Game budgets are not going to remain in the triple-digit millions, Layden said. Let's say $20 million with the current level of gaming development skill. It's gotten higher than it was 10 years ago. We have a talent pool that we can reach into with the right budget and lean into it for the variety. Don't make a bunch of AA first-person shooters set in World War II. That's not going to move the needle. But giving us more interesting opportunities, give me more things like Firewatch, those kind of games. Layden's time at PlayStation saw the rise of the platform holders' largest franchises like The Last of Us and Horizon, but it also saw Sony focus on and provide development support for many independent titles. Layden believes that more variety is needed to tempt future players away from the established live service giants. According to a report this year, 60% of all playtime in 2023 was spent in games that are 6 years old or older. We're trying to get more people into playing games. Clearly, people are not playing games, and they're not playing games because they're not interested in what we're giving them. what we're giving them is sequels to the things they were interested in. I don't think that's going to get them through the door. Layden also discussed the industry's need to find new sources of revenue if consumers are unwilling to pay more for games. In 2020, some publishers used the move to the next generation of consoles as an opportunity to increase the price of standard games from $60 to $70. While this hasn't been a universal change, most large publishers have now adopted the $70 price point. When it costs $5 million to make a game, you can charge $59.99. When it costs $125 million to make a game, you charge $59.99, Layden said. So the math doesn't work. You end up having your cost and revenue streams at a break-even point. It's not a healthy model, but the gaming community said they don't want to pay more than $60 for a game. That led the industry into this place of, well, how do we get them to continue to spend? What is a DLC? What are the microtransactions? How do we get battle passes? How do we sell subscriptions? For some, they made good decisions around that. Others, as we've seen, haven't, and we've seen blowback for companies charging crazy amounts for DLC and season passes that have no benefit. So I think we're running up against a wall now. If you're going to make a $150 million AAA game, you're going to have to make a sequel. Your ability to take chances or make a game that no one's ever heard of before at that cost, it's getting very difficult to do the math on that, particularly when you have companies more and more being run by chief financial officers rather than the chief creative officers become CEOs.
Got you.
True. Layden also told VGC he believes that games console power arms race has plateaued and that a majority of consumers are not interested in marginally more powerful machines. We've done these things this way for 30 years. Every generation those costs went up and we realigned with it, he said. We've reached the precipice now where the center can't hold. We cannot continue to do things that we have before. Layden thinks that in order for the console market to remain healthy, it must also appeal to a broad audience and consumers who weren't previously players. It's time for a real hard reset on the business model, a hard reset on what it is to be a video game, he said. It's not 80 hours and not 90 hours, but if it is, that's a whole different category. Oh man, Shawn Layden, he is the PlayStation boss that we didn't deserve, but we got him. We had him for quite a few years, and sad he's gone now. Very sad, because I pretty much everything he said there, I 100% agree with. Right? Like, is there any part of that where you're like, I don't know about that? Like, no, like pretty much everything he says there is like, that's spot on, you know?
Yeah, I hate it when people mention my president of the company, aka Shawn Layden, who should be the rightful president. Because it just makes me like so upset that they had the answer to all these issues that they're having right now, right here with him, but they chose to go the other way. And now look at where they're at. They're in a rut. So,
yeah, I mean, they straight up kind of rejected anything he had to say once he was out. Obviously, while he was in there, like they worked with him, but like once he's out, it's almost like it almost felt like they purposely just like, let's do the opposite of what he was doing.
Somebody watch the clock to see what's going on. He's doing this. We're going to do the exact opposite.
Yeah. Like they were just like taking notes the whole time he was in there. And then like, as soon as he was out, he's like, all right, here we go. 180. It's Papa
He's having
Yui.
breakfast. It's dinner time.
Papa Yui right here. We're going the other direction, baby. And I just don't get it because PlayStation was very successful. It had its downturns as well. Like, yeah, it had its rough spots, PS3 era, stuff like that. But in overall, it was extremely positive. And I don't know. It just is wild to me to think like, no, throw all that was learned, throw it away, start over. I just don't get it. A lot of wisdom there. And that's one thing. So to kind of talk on specifics, one thing I wish PlayStation would bring back is their indie support. Like,
I miss PlayStation loves indies so bad, dude.
They had the little indie showcases. They would straight up just help produce and publish games for indie developers, you know, through PlayStation. It was such an awesome program they had. And it's just like, they just ignore indies now. Like it's just, they don't give a crap, it's the last thing they care about. It almost feels like, which is just evident by going to like the PlayStation store page on you go to pop open your PS4, PS5, go to the store page, and you're not going to see like any little indie games on there. Like, it's all the big AAA bombastic, some blockbuster games, and just
they've been relegated to the back.
Yeah, I don't know. I that's one thing I wish they would bring back, like exactly what we talking about, AA, or even like just indie or like a bigger indie initiative. But I don't know. What do you have any more thoughts you want to add to this? Anything you want to highlight from what he said that you liked? Or
I mean, I honestly can just sum it all down to they picked the wrong president, and now they are facing the wrath of their actions, or the consequences of their actions, when they could have avoided this, but the dollar signs were too big. Yeah. Now here we are.
Here we are indeed. Sorry, I was distracted. Our stream went down for like 2 seconds. We're live now. But our stream went down for like 2 seconds, and it was just enough time where YouTube was like, "Oh, I'm gonna start a new stream." So now, like, if people were watching on the other stream, they're just lost.
They're done.
The wasteland, unless they think to go to our other stream. Oh well, good old internet issues. All right. Well, with that, we have one last news story. This has been like a PlayStation rock block tonight. Just bashing on PlayStation all night. I feel...
You know what? I'm fine with that. You know why I'm fine with that? Just like you had mentioned before, the hubris. We are in the PS5 hubris era, and somebody needs to kick a little sense into them and let them know that they're not really all that,
Yep. They're not invincible.
Right.
Made apparent by the fact that Marvel's Wolverine director departs Insomniac to take charge of Perfect Dark. That's right. This is written by Luke Riley. Marvel's Wolverine on PS5 has a new leadership arrangement, according to a new report by GameFile. GameFile sources indicate that creative director Brian Horton has not been a part of the project since mid-year, and that Wolverine's game director Cameron Christian has since taken on a different role at Insomniac. Oh man. So the headline made it sound like it was just one director. It's two different directors, a creative director and a game director.
Nuts.
Gone. Wolverine's new creative director is reportedly Marcus Smith, and its new game director is Mike Daly. Smith previously served as one of the three creative directors on 2021's Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Daly was one of its three game directors. So they have a good background. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was incredible. But for his part, Horton has since jumped the first-party fence to Xbox as the new creative director for Perfect Dark, which is being co-developed by the Initiative and Crystal Dynamics. Horton previously served as a game director in 2015's The Rise of the Tomb Raider at Crystal Dynamics before a brief stint at Infinity Ward and subsequently joining Insomniac. So basically, he's just going home. He previously worked with Crystal Dynamics before. He's just working with them again, basically. They were probably like, "Hey, we loved working with you then. We got a sweet gig. You want to come join us?" And he's like, "Heck yeah. If you pay me some sweet cash, I'm over there." Wild. There's been a little official word on Marvel's Wolverine since its 2021 announcement, although cyber thieves leaked a variety of details on the project in December of 2023. So... I just thought this was kind of a bizarre turn of events, like to be like two directors just gone off the project, new directors in there. The old directors abandoned ship to go work on an Xbox project.
That's pretty good.
Should we be worried about Wolverine? Like my initial thoughts, and let me share my thoughts, and you can kind of give what you think, because maybe like kind of either you're gonna agree with me or you can set me straight if you think I'm off base. But I think Wolverine is in trouble. Like I'm more and more starting to feel like it's gonna be a long time till this game comes out. Like with this Switch, I don't know. This just feels like significant. Like either either this game is getting a full reset. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there's like insider information that comes out later, like, oh yeah, in 2 years from now, also like, oh yeah, back in 2024, we actually completely started over from the ground up with the game, you know? Or is there even a chance where like in another year we might hear like this project was canceled? I don't know. What are your feelings on it? Do you think there's a chance of that or not at all? Like, is this game getting a refresh, or could this get canceled? I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, there's always a chance, right? Like, it's so tough.
I guess
I say there's a chance. What?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I see there's a chance it can make its way back.
Okay. You think it's good?
I would.
You think it's in capable hands? I mean, I think it's in capable hands. Like these new directors, like I said, they've worked on Ratchet and Clank, the new Rift Apart, which is incredible. But yeah, the only thing that might shake my confidence a little bit is that I don't want this to be. If this was in response to the leak that happened, the big leak, what was it, last year, I think, or so. Yeah. Then I would be worried about it, because that makes me think that they're doing it in like not retaliation. What am I trying to say? As a reaction when it leaked, because everybody only saw the alpha when Wolverine leaked, and they thought, oh my God, this game looks terrible, because nobody knows what an alpha is. Where that means it's nowhere near where it's supposed to look like, you know, what it's supposed to entail. These are all still basically just visualization of an idea at this point in time. Right. So I feel like, I guess we just don't know the exact timeline of events. Like, yeah, because we know the leak happened back in December, but does the article say? I don't know. It's hard to tell from the article whether, were the directors let go, or did they leave because of the job offer at Crystal Dynamics? Because that's what would kind of tell us the whole story there. Because if they were obviously fired, then okay, maybe it had something to do with the leaks. But right. I guess I assumed from reading it, again, it doesn't say anywhere explicitly, but my assumption is that they jumped ship to go join this other project. That's what it seems like to me. Yeah, but it's so weird to leave such a high profile project like that.
You know what I mean? For such a smaller scale, small potatoes game. Maybe I just see it one way, I guess.
Perfect Dark's big deal over at Xbox, right? Like a sequel to.
I'm trying to minimize it, because I just don't care about the quadruple A rhetoric propaganda anymore. Just, you know what I mean? Just call it a regular day. Maybe you're a little on the taller side. Maybe you're like 6'3", 6'4". Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking through the official like report that showed up over on gamefile.news. I'm not seeing anything here. Just with a quick skim, I'm not reading it super deeply. I'm not seeing anything about the timeline events here either. But yeah, I don't know. It's wild. It's just because you'd think being part of Marvel's Wolverine, like there's Sony PlayStation money, but there's also like the Marvel money, you know. But
backing it up, yes, sir.
But you never know. Like if someone wants them that bad, like maybe Crystal Dynamics and Xbox was like, we got more, you know, we'll pay you more. Like, okay,
we got a ton.
So, but again, that's it. That's not knowing the timeline of events. Maybe they were let go first. It was more like hey, I lost my job. Do you guys have a position? They're like, sure, yeah. Which that also means they would have had to fire the director and creative director over at whoever was working on Perfect Dark. So it's like, basically, it's just a chain reaction. It's like this is continuing of swapping directors until, you know, no one's ever going to be happy at whatever job they have, but we'll see. Oh boy. Well, that's it for the news this week. A lot of crazy stuff happening right now.
Don't sound so defeated.
It's just,
well, folks, doggone it.
I don't know. It was just a lot of bad news. It just makes me sad. Normally I try to have some good news stories in there. I didn't have any. No good news
That's
stories.
fair. I'm not gonna make fun of you for empathizing with people. That's
sad.
a trait that not most folks have. So,
the only thing I'm happy about is that we were able to, kind of kick Sony a little bit. As much as I love Sony, it's also kind of nice to set them straight a little bit. Not that they're listening to this, but I mean, maybe Herman Hulse listens to this. Who knows?
I'd have some questions for him if he did. Like, what are you doing wasting your time here?
What are you doing here? You have better things to be doing than listening to our tomfoolery.
Imagine we find out he's like a secret super fan, and he's been wanting to come on the podcast this whole time. Oh my God.
I've never.
We'd go
our Patreon producer, Bumble Smash. I don't know if I've ever talked to them. Maybe that's Shawn Layden, or not Shawn Layden, Herman Hulst in disguise. Maybe it's Herman Hulst all along. Just kidding. I think I've played what was that game that came out? Payday. The new Payday game that came out was that earlier this year, like last year?
I think so. I had fun with it.
It was a fun game for a bit, and then they just didn't do anything with it. Anyways, I think it's now time for our Patreon ad.
Roll 'em.
All right, this is a part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us over there starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 each and every month gets you episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, as well as access to our Patreon exclusive show, Super Later Boys, and early season Super Gamer Book Club. Just think about supporting us over there. It's just $1. It's so cheap. Helps the channel out a ton. Just think, if everyone who watched and downloaded our podcast gave $1, we'd have a lot more dollars to make cool stuff. So think about supporting us over there. $1 a month. We also have a $5 tier. If you really love what we do and you want to see a little more behind the scenes, support us at $5 and you get the show notes as well as the previous perk I talked about, but you'll get the show notes each and every week, see exactly what news stories we're talking about, the listener question, what we've been playing, everything. You can see the exact run of show that I'm currently using to run the show. That's what you get. And you have the ability to leave questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, everything right on the dock. You can click, leave your comment, leave your question, and then while I'm doing the show, I'm able to see those little speech bubbles pop up while I'm scrolling through, share it here on the show. So not only do you get to see what we're going to be talking about, you even have your voice heard. Even I can read it here, your answers to the questions, your thoughts on the news, what games you've been playing. So think about supporting us at $5 a month. Even that's not a ton. That's like cheaper than a Starbucks coffee, honestly. And again, tremendously helps support the channel. We got the $10 tier. You can be a Super Gamer sponsor, where for $10 a month, you get all those previous perks and a big old shout out at the top of each and every episode. Excuse me. Sorry. Still recovering from my cold / whatever the heck I've had in the last few weeks. Yeah, $10 a month, though. You get the early access, ad-free videos. You get the show notes, and you also get that big old shout out top of each and every episode with all the rest of those wonderful, wonderful people. Then we got the big dog, top tier Patreon producer, $15 a month. We've had a few of those through our Patreon career, and it's always a wonderful time getting to know them and hearing their thoughts and what they want us to make and coming up with cool ideas. And that's one of the perks of being a Patreon producer is you can pitch a segment for a show. Now, disclaimer, not a guarantee it will happen, but so far, I think like 99% of the things that have been pitched to us, we have done. I actually can't even think of one that we haven't done. So if you think you have a fun idea, cool idea, either a segment within the show we can do, or maybe it's a spinoff that we do just on our YouTube channel, or something just for TikTok and Instagram Reels, or whatever it might be, some fun, cool idea, and you want to share it with us, and you want your name slapped on there, produced by so-and-so, think about supporting us at the Patreon producer tier, and we would love to hear it. You can also support us by going to sgbstore.com. You can buy some sweet, sweet merch. Our summer collection is still live because you know what? Sometime life gets busy and you don't get a Halloween collection. So I'm just keeping the summer collection up until I come up with something new. But it's still a fun one. You can get some sweet t-shirts, some sweet hats, swim shorts, glasses, cups, anything you can think of, all with a design I made myself with my own 2 hands and on an iPad and on a computer. But think about supporting us if they're getting that. We also have our collection, I can't even speak, classic collection. So if you just want our not old, but classic merch with our classic logo. This is our mug. You can't buy this one because this is Gen 1. I think we've had 2 or 3 versions since this one came out. But you can get the most up-to-date version with me and Adrian on there, the mug. I'm wearing my Super Gamer Boys crew neck right now. I'm going to be drinking out of my Summer Gamer Boys glass right here. I got all the Super Gamer Boys merch. That wasn't even intentional. I just actually use it all the time. So support us over there. Buy some merch, sgbstore.com. And last but not least, you can support us here at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys. If you're watching live on Monday nights while we live stream this, or another time when we happen to be playing some games at some point in the future, because hopefully one day we can come back with a regularly scheduled streams during the week. But at this point, Monday nights around 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, you can join us. And if you happen to be there and you have an Amazon account, you can link your Amazon account to your Twitch account. You get a free Prime Gaming sub. That's right. Each and every month, they give you a free subscription to use on any channel you want. Cost you $0, but we still get the full amount as if it was a standard sub. You get all the perks of a standard sub. So you get access to emotes, you get the ad-free viewing, and you get the satisfaction of supporting your favorite Twitch channel. So think about supporting us here, twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys. Throw that free sub our way. Use Jeff Bezos' money because otherwise he sticks it in his pocket and he goes and buys a Subway sandwich, which I know they don't have $5 footlongs anymore, but at least helps, it gets close. And with that, I think it's now time to get back to the show. All right, Adrian, it's that time of the show where I have a question. The most important
question. What you want to know, my man? What you want to know? The question
that I've been dying to ask all week, but I just can't. I physically cannot type it into the keyboard on my phone. If I do, my phone bursts into flames. I'm not allowed to ask it unless I'm here on the show on a Monday night recording this with you. So, Adrian.
Yes, sir.
What you playing?
What am I playing? Well, let's say, this past week or so, I have been, it's been pretty heavy in JRPG land, for me. I have been walking, how should I say this? In more than one realm. And I mean, by that, I mean more than one platform. I've been putting a little bit more time in with Tales of Symphonia. I was telling you a little bit before the show started that I have my GameCube's been set up for quite a while, and I'll still power it on and play sometimes. Quite honestly, I probably put more hours into that this year than anything else. So I'm probably going to end up losing the backlog challenge because I don't have a backlog. I played everything on there, but Tales of Symphonia is just it's a heck of a game, man. It's so good. I remember the first time I mentioned it, and I went a little more in. What
are you playing, the original or the remastered? Because it just come out remastered.
It did, but the remaster was not the best, unfortunately. Okay. I am playing the original, real deal Nintendo GameCube version. I would go get my box, but it's all the way over there, and I think the disc is still in the GameCube. But yeah, no, that's my copy. sitting there on the shelf.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that game rules. And then on the other side of the aisle, I've been taking my PSP with me, and I've been playing Star Ocean. Now, this is one that is new to me. The Star Ocean games are a duology on PSP. There's Star Ocean, I believe it's called First Departure, and then there's Star Ocean Second Story, and they are both like two halves of one giant story in a sense. Like so much so that if you put the covers next to each other, like both of them feature half of a planet, but if you put them both together, it shows the whole picture of it. So that's how like closely connected they are, even though I think they take place a few centuries apart. But the actions of what you do in the first one, greatly affect the outcome in the second one. At least that's from what I understand. But it's a fun little game. It's like they got anime cutscenes in there. It's fully voice acted. Like the combat system is interesting. You have to switch between your characters all the time. Okay. So like you have to kind of maneuver your way throughout the space and kind of use your spacing correctly and make sure you're healing your other team members and kind of strategizing so you can almost like chain your attacks together. It's just it's really well done, and I'm having it's peak mid 2000s PSP RPG game, and I don't have any problem with it so far. Okay. So I'm having a fun little blast. Yeah, that's awesome. So not a whole lot I got going on this week, but what I am playing is pretty fulfilling. Yeah. Now that will be on my backlog when I get done with it, because I've heard tons about the Star Ocean series, and apparently a new one came out early. No, we saw that in the direct. I think a new one came out for Switch this past year. I think maybe less than a couple of months ago. So
I think it was.
Is it a remake or is it a?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I thought it was a remake, but I could be wrong on that.
Let me see. Because if it's a remake, then I'll just play 2 and be done with it. I'm not gonna, unless let's see here, Star Ocean.
So it looks like Star Ocean First Departure R is on the Switch, and Star Ocean Second Story R is on. So those are both remakes. I don't know. I don't see anything about a new one. I think it's just
I feel like
remakes of the original.
There was one that was like it was kind of HD 2D-ish. I think that is the Second Story.
Okay.
So that I think they went a lot harder with the remake.
You're right. Yep. Yeah. Right. I see it says right here. Yeah. And it's out on Switch, brought to life with a unique 2.5D aesthetic.
Well, they didn't do that for the first game. They just basically up-resed the original.
Okay.
For the first remake on Switch, and then this one looks like they put a whole lot more into it, where it's kind of almost a ground up remake.
Right.
But no, this is the one that takes place a few hundred years after the first game, the Second Story R. So I'm having fun. I get to pick away at it whenever I can, because the PSP is always with me. So it's nice to be able to do that. And it's pretty meaty. I think they said it's gonna take somewhere in the 50s to beat.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's pretty meaty. Okay.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, sorry.
No, you're good. So the second story just came out last year, November 2nd, 2023. So yeah, it's pretty recent.
49 hours to get 100%.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's like completionist, right? Or is that just finishing it?
No, that's completionist. So it's a little over like 20 if you just want to finish it.
Not bad at all. Mm-hmm. Now I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Did you see the reviews for Mario and Luigi Brothership?
Yes. And
Did you see IGN's
I'm
review?
Heartbroken. I am so... the only thing about it is, though, I feel like they're the outlier because everybody else is giving it 7s and 8s. Or mainly 8s, I feel like.
Yeah, it's sitting at an 80 on Metacritic, and that's out of 69 critic reviews.
Right. I'm going to get it because I am a massive Mario and Luigi fan. And I feel like I have to put my money where my mouth is, right? Like I have been asking for this game for years at this point. Like, oh, maybe I've probably been on here multiple times saying that. Oh, I wish, somehow they could take it from Alpha Dream and make it somewhere else. And they did that. And they made it. And you know what? It's decent. It's decent.
Yeah, it's even there's a lot of 8s and 9s even. Like I'm seeing like 8s, 9s, like it's 75s,
so if the consensus
like
is
so
that it's
7.5s, but then it just drops after that to like, it's pretty stark.
I'm gonna say
so digital
if
Digital Trends and IGN are the two lowest at 50. Everyone else is 7 and higher. So they really are the outliers. Digital Trends and IGN.
I'm going to say if this game, honestly, okay, let's just go with the consensus. It's not legendary, right? But it's on average, we'll say it's an 8.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That means it's all right. It's pretty good.
That's where it's sitting on Metacritic. It's an 80, so which is an 8. So
it's no Superstar Saga. It's no Bowser's Inside Story. Those are legendary games in the series. But, when history looks back on this game and they go, it wasn't half bad. It was pretty good. I think I could live with that.
Yeah. I just was shocked when I saw the IGN review. I'm like, 5 out of 10.
Yeah,
like,
I couldn't believe it. Dude, that was the first one I saw because Stealth 40K tweeted it. And I'm like, oh no. Oh, it sucks. And then he put out the full list and everybody else was like, actually, it kind of rips. It kind of rips. It kind of rips. It kind of rips. And then only one other person was like, no, it is whack. So I was worried at first, but it sounds like it sounds like it's going to be pretty good. So I'm going to buy it for sure. Yeah. Because I got to put my money where my mouth is. And if I want more Mario and Luigi games, I have to be there. I have to be there to support it. So
gotta support it.
I can't just holler into the void and you know what I mean, when they do something, not follow up on it. So I'm looking forward to it still. I think it's gonna be a fun time. Now that I'm glad that my expectations for it have been put in check. Yeah. So now I know what I'm getting when I walk into it. Yep.
100%. So, yeah, don't expect to have your mind blown, but still expect to have a good time. Like
a good time.
An 8 out of 10 with that. An 8 out of 10, even a 7 out of 10. Like neither of those are bad games. Like that's a good game. Like it's not going to knock my socks off, but I'm going to have a good time with this. So
I won't regret. I won't regret playing it. That's all I can ask for.
Exactly. Yep.
But that is what I have been playing. I know that you have a lot on your plate. Is there anything that you might have snuck and played?
Oh, Adrian, I've been racking my brain trying to think of something because I was like, there has to be something I played this
Even
week.
A phone game, maybe a game of solitaire or a game of poker in the office with the boys on lunch break, something.
So I talked about it earlier, but on my phone, that's what I've been playing mostly this week is the new Pokemon trading card game Pocket.
There we go.
Which I've been getting some just banger cards, and a little trick to everyone. If this is your jam, anyways, you can get Japanese cards even you have to switch your language in the settings. That was something I found out online, and apparently. So you know how like in Japanese card packs, you can get God packs that have like basically all the cards in the pack will just be crazy bangers, rares all the way through. Mm-hmm. You can get that in TCG Pocket if you use Japanese language. So I haven't gotten one yet, but dude, immediately as soon as I saw that, like I saw a couple of people on Twitter, a couple of people on Threads talking about it, I'm like, I'm changing my language.
Switch right over.
So I mean, I use it mostly in English, obviously, but then when I'm about to open a pack, I switch to Japanese, rip open the pack, and plus Japanese cards look way cooler because they're all in Japanese. And what's really neat too is even though the cards in Japanese, when you go in to battle someone, it translates it to English for you. And then as soon as you're done with the battle, it just goes back to Japanese for your collection. So it's like the best of both worlds. Like it's a sick Japanese card for your collection, but then you're still getting like, you can still know what it says when you're actually like battling, you know, playing the game. So very, very cool. I'm loving this game, man. It unfortunately, here's my biggest gripe with it. Right off the bat, they give you a ton of items and XP and all this stuff, so you can rip a ton of packs. Like within the first couple days, I was nonstop just ripping. Like it was so much fun to zing. And then also,
and then you hit the wall. Your next pack is in 12 hours.
Yeah, it's just like a cliff where it's like, I gotta wait how long for another pack? Like what? Or I gotta chalk up some money. I gotta pay money to open more packs. I will confess here on the air, I spent $9.99 and bought some gold bars to open some packs early. I did, in fact, cave and spent some money for research purposes.
Sir, you don't have to justify it. If you like the game and the game is free, get the stuff. You're supporting the game.
Yeah. So I felt like a little grubby, but that's what ultimately I came all the way away with. It's just like, nah, but I am enjoying this game. Like I'm putting a ton of time of it. Like I might as well support it. And it was actually like a special deal, like in the shop for the first like month that the game is out. Excuse me. They're doing like special pricing where you get like bonus golds. Like, so normally $10 would only get you 50 gold bars, but I got like 70 gold bars. I'm like, sweet, I got a bunch of extra bars for way cheaper. But that's my biggest gripe though, is like they get you hooked and there's like, here's all these packs, pack, just enough. Yep. And then they're just like, you only get one, maybe two a day if you're lucky. You know, they do a premium pass where it's like $10 a month and you get, so I think it's normally one pack a day unless you have the premium pass, and it's 2 packs a day. So like right now I'm doing a 2-week free trial of the premium pass. So I'm getting 2 packs a day. But after that, it goes like $10 a month. I'm like,
steep.
$10 a month for an extra
fake cards.
I mean, it's an extra 30 packs a month as long as I play every day, but still, yeah, they are fake cards. You know, spending $10 every once in a great while is like, to me, it's like, okay, that's fine. Like every few months, maybe, but
right,
$10 a month to have the subscription to get like over the course of a month, 30 extra packs. Like it is technically a better deal, but I don't know. That seems kind of wild. So
I know,
probably won't keep that up. But yeah, it's a fun time. I already have a bunch of friends on there, and what's cool. Oh, so another feature they added. So you can rip packs, you can battle each other. They haven't added trading yet. Hopefully it's coming soon. But you can also do, it's called Wonder Picks. So what it does is you tap on the icon and it shows you what your friends have pulled out of their packs. Like it shows you the 5 cards out of their packs. If you don't have friends, it just shows random people in the community. But you can see what they pulled. And if there's a card in there that you really want, you can take a stab at pulling it. So basically you spend Wonder Coins, which is another currency that they give you for free. You know, after so many days, you build up Wonder currency, or you can pay gold to get it. But basically, so each pack has 5 cards. Like right here, here's an Articuno EX card. There's a chance to get it. So what you do is you choose it. What they do is they shuffle the 5 cards, flip them over so you can't see it. And then it's a 1 in 5 chance that you pull the card you want. So it's not even a guarantee still, but it's still a fun, like little lottery thing where it's like, oh, you know, my friend, let's see, Gengar 16 pulled a Venomoth card I wanted or something. So I can click here, spend the Wonder Coin, and then try to, you know, get the Venomoth. But there's a chance I walk away with a Shelder or a Minccino or something, or a Mr. Mime. So it's like, you're not guaranteed to get the card you want, but it is just like a cool little mechanic where it's like, oh, like not only do you get to see what your friends are pulling, but there's a chance for you, especially if it's a sick card, a chance at you getting it without having to rip like 100 packs to get to it, you know?
Right.
It goes from like a 0.005 chance of getting a card to a 1 in 5 chance. So it's like, wow, the odds are already significantly better. So yeah, kind of a fun little gimmick they have and added in there. Unfortunately, again, it's tied to currency as well. Like you only have so much, but still a neat little thing. So yeah, that's my review so far. 1 week with Pokemon TCG Pocket. Definitely join our Discord and add me as a friend on there because we're having a blast. And once trading opens up, the floodgates are going to open.
Go and see about them.
Absolutely insane. It's going to be so much fun. And that's all I got. That's all I got for you folks this week. I want to say thank you all so much for listening and watching. We appreciate each and every one of you, whether you're listening on podcast apps around the world or you are watching here on YouTube on Wednesdays when the episode comes out, or if you're one of the few who join us Monday nights as we're recording live. We stream to Twitch and YouTube. So if you're on Twitch, follow our channel. So then you know when we go live. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. It's free to subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Then you know when we're going live Mondays, when the new videos come out throughout the week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we release them. For folks who don't know, we release a full episode on Wednesday, but then we also put out the clips of the news stories. So if you're just interested in the news stories, you're like, I don't care about what games they're playing. I don't care about all their fun little stories, anecdotes from their life. I just want to hear about the games news. Well, check out SGB clips. Monday, Thursday, Friday. Those are released. You can catch those, and it's just the clip outs of the 3 news stories we do. So there you have it. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. If you love what we do, want to help support the channel, please think about going over to Patreon. Go over to patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys, where you can support us, become a patron, starting at just $1 a month. We got the $1, $5, $10, $15 levels, whatever you're looking for. We got a pack for you that you're gonna love. We got some fun stuff, whether it's show notes, whether it's shout outs in the show, whether it's the ability to pitch us a sweet segment to add into our show here. So think about supporting us over there. SGBstore.com. You can support us there. Get some sweet merch, whether it's the mug, whether it's the Summer Gamer Boys glass, whether it's a crew neck sweatshirt. Think about going to SGBstore.com. Get some sweet merch. Rep the brand. Show it off to your friends. Get them listening to the show. Buy them some merch. It's the cycle, the circle of life.
It's almost Christmas. Come on now.
Almost Christmas. Exactly. Rate and review us where you can. I believe at the moment you can do it over on Apple Podcasts. Spotify is doing reviews now. So leave 5 stars, leave a little comment, something. Every little bit helps. Shout out to Jack, Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on the show. You can find them over on Spotify and Apple Music. Tonight, we've been listening to DJ Trooz, so add them to your playlist. Listen to them later. DJ Trooz got some fun chill tunes. My favorite album is Trooz and Chill. That's playing right now, actually.
It's a classic.
Arctic Melancholy from Trooz and Chill. So go check that out. DJ Trooz on Apple Music and Spotify. Finding us during the week is as easy as going to supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere on this here internet at Homeboy, HOLMBOI.
And that's all I got. So with that, let's get on out of here, Adrian.
Not a problem. Folks, Garrett already said it all. Just wanted to follow back up and let you know that we appreciate any and all support. Thank you for hanging out with us for another episode of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. As usual, we cannot do it without you. Again, I cannot say it enough. Thank you for supporting us and letting us do what we love, which is just an excuse to hang out and talk about video games, but we're just really good at it, you know? But until next time, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
All right, let's go see about GamerBot since they have that too.
We gotta work out this attitude. We need a little attitude adjustment
up in here. Software update.
You know what my parents used to say when growing up? When we were being bad. And when we were about to get a spanking, they're like, you need an attitude adjustment?
Attitude adjustment. I was just getting ready to say.
I think Super Gamer Bot needs a little attitude adjustment here.